We believe that videos, images, words, and sounds have the absolute power to inform, inspire, and entertain. We are united under the virtues of safety and knowledge. We are a training community of learners and teachers who encourage and energize each other to achieve greatness. We are pilots, videographers, photographers, freelancers, business owners, enthusiasts, experts, and apprentices. We are creators. We are the Drone U.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another awesome episode of Ask Drone U. My name is Bob.
And I'm Ball.
No. You're bald.
I am
with
bald.
a D. No, my name is Paul, guys. I'm just messing around. If you're ever around the studio, I always like to do my fake announcer voice. Like, hey Bob, I'm ready to go here. So that's just kind of an inside joke for you.
I missed your fake announcer voice.
You really did?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Glad you're back. Anyways, this is episode number 322. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. We're happy to have you and glad you're spending a few minutes of your day with us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, we really do appreciate it, and we appreciate all the questions like I'm getting on my phone right now.
We do, absolutely. We love the questions that get spoken into a microphone via AskDroneU.com.
Yes.
Those are our favorite.
We really do. And why don't we just move right into today's question? Let's not waste any time.
All right.
Today's question...
There's certain people that will appreciate that. Go ahead.
That is true. That is very true. You're such a people pleaser.
Anyways.
I'm just saying the truth here. Anyways, today's question is brought to you by... Are you a drone pilot? Are you operating under a Section 333 exemption? Then you may be familiar with Item 27, which requires you to get a property release for every flight over property.
Legal Flyer is an app for iPhone and iPad that helps you create professional property releases in less time than it takes to do a pre-flight check.
You can add your pilot info, you can sign it, hand it to the property owner for their signature. But wait a second. Legal Flyer's advanced integration automatically adds latitude, longitude, and even altitude.
Then add a panorama straight from the app. Everything drops into a single-page PDF you can share with a single tap. It's compliance at light speed. Visit LegalFlyer.com for more information or get it straight from the App Store. Legal Flyer. Property releases for professional drone pilots.
Hi guys, my name is Mike from Las Vegas. I have a question for you before I return my Osmo to Amazon. And I'm guessing I'm not making the settings right, but it doesn't look smooth and buttery like Paul says it should. I'm wondering, are there any settings that I should make on the gimbal as far as pan and tilt and how you can make it smoother or the acceleration? Because right now it's looking jittery and jumpy and it sure doesn't look smooth like my Phantom 3 footage. Any advice would be appreciated.
Well, Mike, thank you for the question, and I don't think you're alone in this. I think the Osmo might be a little more difficult to use than people expected it to be.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, there are some false assumptions made when people buy the Osmo. I think it's going to be the most stable thing right out of the camera, and they don't have to do anything extra to get this super stable footage.
I did.
But one thing I will say is I have spoken to so many people, and I've been telling them about the Osmo, even though we have the video 5 unique ways to use the Osmo, and in that video we kind of talk about how to get those smooth movements that you see in the video. Anyway, if you want to check that out right away, just go here, check that out. The thing is that there are very specific things you've got to do with the Osmo to get the smoothness of footage you actually expect.
Such as, number 1, app control. That is so important. If you want to get smooth, nice tilting and panning reveals, use the app. So when you open up the DJI Go app, click and hold on your screen. You'll see a blue circle come up. And then while you're still holding, move your finger around and you can actually control the tilt, the pan, everything. And that'll give you the smoothest movement possible. Now, that being said, normally your Osmo has to be fixed to something. So if we're filming extreme sports, if we're even if we're inside of a home, if we're doing different things, it's got to be fixed to something. And that could include a slider.
Yes,
right?
like a little dolly like I use all the time. I normally don't walk around with my Osmo. And it's funny because people are like, well, I thought that's what the Osmo is for, is walking around and getting smooth shots. There's so much vertical movement. Now, sure, you can use warp stabilizer and get some of that out. But I don't really walk around with it. If I want to have one scene where I reveal to another, I normally won't go beyond my reach and ability to step more than one step, pretty much.
Yeah, so even in that video that you referenced of the 5 uses or 5 ways to use your Osmo, I think all 5 of those include a stationary attachment to something.
Yes,
right?
so bike helmet, car, dolly, suction cup, tripod.
Exactly.
You still, in order to get the smoothest movements, you've got to keep it stationary somehow.
Right.
Now, if I want those really long, linear movements that people are like, well, I want to be able to walk through, normally I just fly them. Otherwise, you still got to have a little creativity. You know, I can understand if you wanted to walk throughout an entire conference and film with your Osmo and then speed ramp through it so you actually couldn't see all those vertical movements.
Right.
But unless you're doing that exact type of shot, don't expect the world, you know, with the Osmo. You still have to do certain things. And
Sure.
great is the enemy of good. You know, most people expect that they're going to get this good footage out of the Osmo. And to get the best, great footage, there are steps you have to take, like using Polar Pro filters, neutral density. Also, one mistake I've made, and Rob's not going to like to hear this, but we're just going to roll with it. The screws for the Osmo, the side mount, are different thread levels. So if you buy the wrong adapter, say a 1/4 inch 20 versus a 1/4 inch 15, you'll actually end up stripping the screw in the Osmo.
Just hypothetically, that could happen.
No, it happened.
It's not hypothetical at all.
No, our Osmo's screwed.
Oh, well. Anyways, you know what? It's getting used. And
we use
stuff
it more than
happens.
like any other camera at the moment.
Yeah, so which brings me to a point I wanted to make. So talk to Mike a little bit about why he should not send that back to Amazon.
Because it adds value to every single video he's
Right.
going to do. I mean, even our editor, now that we have multiple editors, one of our editors just yesterday said, you know, I edited your ground footage and your aerial footage for a couple years now, Paul, and your ground footage has always sucked. But your aerials
No offense.
have always been really good. And I was like, oh, well, thanks, man. I really appreciate that.
I'm going to emphasize the good.
Yeah. So I said, well, you know, what do you think about recently? He's like, actually, that's what I wanted to say to you was that recently, since you've been using the Osmo, it has upped your level multiple times by an exponential factor because of the shots you're getting.
That's really cool. But that's because of those techniques that you're using, attaching it to things.
Yes.
You did mention that every now and then you'll go ahead and use your hand with your
Yeah, so
Osmo.
I like to do reveals where I'm like very close to an object and then kind of reveal up, over, and out to a wider space.
But even in that, you're generally not moving in terms of walking.
No, it's normally like if I can move from over here to say over here,
Right.
that's the furthest I'm going to go. But the thing is, like where you're leading with this is a lot of people just move their hand. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see me. If you're listening on iTunes, go to YouTube. They just move their hand in this kind of like frailing motion here. There's no wrist action. All the smooth panning movements are done with some wrist articulation. And the wrist articulation is at a KPI in smooth footage. And if you don't know what KPI means in business, key performance indicator. So,
Awesome.
You know where I got that?
Where?
It's an FMA. If you've ever watched House of Lies, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yes. Another show that you like to talk about that I've not seen. The list grows.
It does. One thing I will say with the Osmo X3, why I'm really excited for the Osmo Pro is because one thing I don't like about the Osmo is that it racks the ISO. Whether you're in auto or manual mode, you could be, revealing from a dark place to a lighter place, and you get these weird breaking lines of ISO change in the footage.
Yeah.
That's why I'm really excited about the X5 on the Osmo, because it's fully manual, and I can also do racking and follow focus, which I learned from John is the key to the B-roll. If you saw the B-roll I took this weekend, I think you'd be blown away.
Because you've been listening to John.
I've just been watching John. I'm
Cool.
a very observant person. I really like to figure out how people work and what makes them tick. And
Sweet.
what makes them blow up. I mean, work better. I'm kidding, John. I love you, buddy.
So what about settings? So Mike asked specifically about settings. I mean, I think he's looking for any reason to keep this thing and make it work for him.
There are settings. I'd have to go grab my Osmo. I didn't really adjust any of the settings. The smooth pan and tilt was fine for me. You can go into the camera and then gimbal and slow down the reaction just a little bit if it's too fast for you. Just again, go into your general settings, gimbal, and then it has a little sensitivity bar and you can slow it down. But for me, I didn't need to do that because I wanted to learn the defaults on it.
Right.
And the deadband, which is the time period from when you stop moving to when the camera head stops moving, the deadband has been programmed really well in the Osmo. So when you stop moving, it slowly comes to a stop, which is the deadband.
Right.
And it's very well programmed, frankly. So I haven't adjusted it at all.
Okay, so not a lot of difference in settings are necessary. It's really about, and like John was telling us earlier before we went on the air, because he's been working with the Osmo with you and some of the things that you're filming, and he is doing a little bit more walking with the Osmo. It takes time. You've got to learn how to do that and kind of learn how to adjust your cadence and be more careful with that, because it is possible to get good shots with your Osmo while you're walking. It's going to take time. It's like anything.
Let me give you an example. Last week at this ranch that we were working on shooting stuff, there was a 30, 35 mile an hour wind, 9 o'clock in the morning, like awful. And I had to get aerials of this place before I left. And I just could not get a smooth pan across the front of the house. So you know what I did? Put the Osmo on a suction cup, and I drove by the front of the house. And then I articulated the camera while I went by. It looks like a drone shot because the lateral motion is so smooth. So you just got to be creative. You got to think of different ways to use it. You know, if
and always have a suction cup.
And always have a suction cup. You know, like if you wanted the ultimate smooth movement, maybe they'll make like a glide cam for the Osmo. But again, those long lateral movements, keep them short.
Right.
Now I will say this: the Osmo Pro and the Ronin MX are both a little bit heavier to help you reduce that vertical motion.
Yeah.
So it really should help you. And I hope my audio levels aren't terrible because I'm rising up and down. But I want to give that example of visualize.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, so we all know now that you just got back from NAB. Did you learn anything about the Osmo there that's changing that we can look forward to that's going to make it different, better?
There was one particular Osmo Pro I really liked. It was with the X5R, so lossless cinema DNG raw 4K video. And it had a light on it, and it had so many extra features on it that would really allow you to do more interview-style shots, which I think would be really cool because if you could do speed ramps to establish an interview, I think you could really change the game. I was recently watching again a show, The House of Lies, where are you familiar with the 180 rule of filming?
No.
So if we're having a conversation, we're going to have one camera over here filming you, and we're going to have one camera on your shoulder filming me.
Okay.
But it's going to be on the same shoulder because we don't want to break that 180-degree rule. Why? The human eye, when envisioning a conversation, if you break that line, it looks like you're having a fake conversation. The realism comes in how they shoot the scene.
Cool.
The only way you can break the 180 rule is if it's a constant shot that starts on one side of the 180 and ends on the other side, so that people can actually visualize. Okay, the camera is
happen.
moving.
Right.
Well, House of Lies, just on episode, I think it was like 7 or 8, they had literally a 360-degree motion around 5 people having a conversation, and it was so interactive. It was like very engaging.
That's really cool because the old sitcoms, right, they don't even have chairs on one end of the table.
Yeah.
Right? It's all that way. And it's I don't know, it's always kind of struck me as funny because it's so unrealistic, although they did a good job making it look realistic. But I love that they're doing that now.
Yeah, so
cool.
Again, you just got to be creative with the Osmo. I like the fact that it's heavier. I like the fact that they're adding the battery adapter. So now you can slide a battery into the bottom of the Osmo and then connect a P3 battery to the adapter, and it'll run for 8 hours.
Nice.
So we need to buy one of those, Rob. Can you get on that?
Let's do it.
All right, cool. I'm trying to think other things that are going to have bigger batteries for the Osmo. Again, I like the light. One thing I'd like to see is a Lume Cube or an Amazon knockoff of the Lume Cube with the Osmo and a solid way to record audio. You can use shotgun mics. You can even use lavs or like the Sennheiser system into the Osmo and record in camera, like you would with say like a 60 Canon or a 70 Canon or even like 5D Mark III. Same way you would record in camera, you could do the same thing with your lavs for interviews. So I just like how they're taking the idea of the Osmo and the smooth movements and applying it to different types of shots.
It's becoming a very versatile camera.
It's my favorite camera right now.
Wow, it's saying a lot.
Yeah, well, I like the, I love the Sonys. Everyone knows that. In fact, I met with someone who owns a very large studio who sold some extremely expensive gear to move into a lower grade Sony line because of what he figured out with Metabones and using Canon glass. And he did a video of a comparison of the two, and it was just unbelievable what you could get out of that small little Sony sensor. And something I didn't realize either, everyone's been touting micro four thirds for so long, and the APS-C sensor is actually larger than the micro four thirds, and I never put those two together. I'm just so in the weeds sometimes, Rob, you know, not able to get out, fly up to 30,000 feet, look down.
It's important to not get too focused on one particular product. For example, the thought of Sony and then putting the Canon glass on it probably would have made you cringe prior to this weekend.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just think of a lot of money because Canon glass is expensive. You know, it's not
that is
cheap.
an issue.
That 24-70 millimeter lens that's like the go-to lens in journalism for B cameras or B-roll cameras, that's a $2,000 lens.
Yeah.
So does it look the
adds up.
best? Yes, it does, but you're going to pay for the best.
Right. Well,
So
as they say, you get what you pay for.
that is in the drone world, that is more true than anything else too, especially with technology.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Cool.
I will say there were a lot of knockoffs there at NAB, lots of drone knockoffs.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
None that are going to get traction, though, you don't think?
Well, some you were just looking at them and like, wasn't that a DJI photo like 2 years ago? Like that they just redid, or I'm sure they were just like copying marketing. But
So their model probably is
and
to charge less.
yes,
right?
and
Sell
I'm
them
not
for
and I'm
less.
not talking about Unique. Like I don't want to throw Unique under the bus. They had an amazing booth, and that was a lot of fun. We were supposed to have an interview with Trent Sigurd. Well, we just kind of had some schedule conflicts, so we're gonna have Trent on next week.
Cool.
So we'll be doing a little Unique interview, as they say, with Trent Sigurd.
Pun intended.
Yeah. So I look forward to that, guys. And I hope this answered the question. Again, focus on practicing your shots, focus on using the app, and focus on trying to create new types of shots. I really recommend at the end of this video that you check out the 5 unique ways to use the Osmo. It'll kind of provide you some fuel, some food for thought to give you ideas on how you can supplement your current footage. I think it's really, really helpful. If you just stick around to the end, it will be a link at the end of this video, probably right around this area, and you can just click there and voila, and go.
Very cool. Check it out.
Yeah, guys, thank you again for all the reviews. If you have a question, go to askdroneu.com and upload that question. And don't be afraid to give us a review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you download podcasts. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for us today. My name is Paul.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Ask Drone U.
We believe that videos, images, words, and sounds have the absolute power to inform, inspire, and entertain. We are united under the virtues of safety and knowledge. We are a training community of learners and teachers who encourage and energize each other to achieve greatness. We are pilots, videographers, photographers, freelancers, business owners, enthusiasts, experts, and apprentices. We are creators. We are the Drone U.
This video. Go to this one. Right, Rob? That video. There. Click it, damn it.